It's a pleasure to have us join us on this month's webinar. We're live at the stable of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, and it's always a wonderful time to have you join us. I hope you are doing good. How are you? And how things around you? I'm sure you're doing very fine. Today we have something very exciting to discuss with you, and I'm sure that it's something that is going to be very beneficial and impactful to you. Before I run off, the medical director and the arrowhead of the Yaba Voice is here, ready to welcome us formally to this webinar. Over to you, Dr. Vivinda Adekide. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Akitoyese. Am I audible enough now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I warmly welcome you to this month's edition of our webinar by Yaba Voice. Yaba Voice is a platform for mental health education, advocacy, and community outreach. It is a social media platform of Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, through which the hospital creates awareness and educate the populace on topical mental health issues. Today's topic is mental health and physical well-being, the two sides of a coin. Mental health and physical well-being, the two sides of a coin. According to the World Health Organization, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of diseases or infirmity. Meaning that mental health is maintained on the aforementioned tripod stand. Therefore, no health without mental, physical, or social health. And during the World Health Assembly in May 2021, governments from around the world recognized the need to scale up the quality mental health services at all levels so that both who have physical challenges and those without will be able to enjoy a very good mental health. In today's webinar,
Apologies.
that can
I think
compromise. What are the factors that can compromise our mental health and our physical health? How do we maintain a sound mental health in the face of physical health issues? To address these issues are great mental health experts on this platform today. Our first presenter today is Dr. Yetunde Animola. Dr. Animola is a consultant psychiatrist and a mental health expert with over 10 years of experience at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos. In addition of her clinical duties, Dr. Animola is actively involved in mental health advocacy and education. She has inspired many as a guest speaker of various platforms, addressing topics related to drug addiction and mental health challenges. She earned a Bachelor's of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery from the prestigious University of Ibadan and is a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. In 2023, completed a dissertation titled Social Support and Beyond Our Medical and Mental Health Advocacy Roles. Dr. Animola holds a leadership position as a deaconess in our church. Dr. Animola is happily married with children. Our second presenter today is also a versatile person in the field of physical health. The second presenter is Dr. Ibisola Faith. Dr. Ibisola Faith is a consultant family physician at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos. Dr. Ibisola is one of the arrowhead at the Ave Road Clinic of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, with nearly 2 decades of clinical experience. She obtained a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery from the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ago-Iwoye, and completed our residency training at Our Lady of Apostle Catholic Hospital, Oluyoro, Ibadan. A fellow of the West African College of Physicians and associate fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Faculty of Family Medicine. Dr. Faith is an active member of the Nigerian Medical Association and the Society of Family Physicians of Nigeria. She is also an affiliate member of the Global Health Network. Her interest spans community psychiatry, primary care integration, and global health. She's married also happily with blessed children. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to kindly relax this afternoon and listen to our mental health experts and our family physician as we promise you a rewarding session of today's webinar. Over to you, Dr. Kemi Akitoyesi. Thank you.
Thank you, Medical Director, for that arousing welcome. And the Medical Director had initiated us with what we're going to be discussing today. We are looking at something very germane, something that we usually don't even talk about. Or excuse me, they are both related and they are both connected. Or the connection, the experts will tell us about them. And how to understand this connection, the experts are here to answer and to expand this knowledge onto us. So we're looking at mental health and physical well-being, 2 sides of the same coin. Dr. Animola is ready to discuss and to tell us when we say mental health and physical well-being are interconnected and they are 2 sides of the coin, what exactly do we mean? Dr. Animola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akintoye. Good morning, everyone listening to us in this webinar all over the world. When we say mental health and physical health are 2 sides of the same coin, what do we mean? We mean mental health and physical health well-being are deeply interconnected and constantly influencing each other. That is, what affects one will almost always affect the other. We also mean that there is a bidirectional relationship between mental health and physical well-being. This bidirectional relationship between mental health and physical well-being is grounded in mind-body connection. What affects the mind can manifest in the body, and what happens in the body can shape mental experiences. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own abilities or potentials, can cope with normal life stressors, can work productively, and is able to contribute to their community. So mental health is more than just the absence of mental disorders. The link between mental health and physical well-being is also rooted in biology. The brain communicates with the body and communicates with every other part of the body through hormones and the nervous system. Stress hormones like cortisol can affect the heart, can affect the immunity and metabolism in our body. Neurotransmitters like serotonin influence both our mood and bodily functions, such as our sleeping pattern and digestion. So the coin is one system with visible expressions in mental health and physical well-being. So you cannot really fully separate the mind from the body because both mind and body are deeply interconnected. True health is holistic. That is, it requires nurturing both our mental health and physical well-being together. So we need to take care of both sides of the coin. We need to prioritize our sleep and nutrition because good sleep restores both mental clarity and physical energy. Healthy eating also supports brain function and body health. We also need to engage in regular physical activity, that is regular exercise, which helps to improve our mood and physical fitness. We need to practice stress management, such as relaxation techniques and mindfulness. What about our social network? It's also very important. Social connection strengthens emotional resilience and even immune function. We also need to seek help early, whether psychological help or medical help. So when we care for one, we strengthen the other. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Animola, for that. And what you had told us today is the interconnectedness between the mind and the body. So most times we tend to see the mind as something very abstract, something far away from us. And then we look at the body as something that is real. But beyond that is if there is a connection. That's what she has expounded to us. Now Dr. Bishola is here, and she's a family physician who is going to now explain to us again in clearer terms that in what ways can the physical health challenges affect a person's mental and emotional state. Now, sometimes when people have some level of physical health challenges, is there a connection? Does it affect? Is there a link between the two? Dr. Bishola, over to you, ma.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Taking off from where Dr. Niwala stopped, if we discuss how physical health challenges affect our mental and emotional state, to give a background to physical health challenges, I want to talk a bit on what are physical health challenges. Physical health challenges are conditions, any conditions, illnesses, injuries, or limitations that affect the day-to-day function of our body. They make it harder for the body to carry out the normal daily activities or even our normal duties. And in so doing, they shape the way we think and we feel. There are different types or different categories of illness. You could have the one that is short-term or acute, things that come and go but still have an impact while they last. Things like fracture, flu, malaria, even something as minor as toothache, food poisoning, or sprains. Those are short-term physical challenges that can affect both our mind and our body. You could have the long-term or the chronic ones, for example, things like diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, asthma, migraine, backache. We know quite a bit of us that suffer from chronic backache and how it affects our day-to-day activities. Physical challenges could also be age-related, something that has to do with our growth and our development, something like menopause, something like a decline in mobility for an individual, or age-related hearing loss, which most middle-aged people suffer from. It could be something that is lifestyle related that affects our sleep, our food, the movement, or even our environment. Things like weight changes like obesity, malnutrition, or dehydration. Having talked a few on what physical health challenges are, how do they affect our mental and emotional state? The biopsychosocial model already reminds us that for every illness, there's a biological, a psychological, and a social component. because of the fact that physical health challenges affect the way we think and we feel. And the fact that the mind and the body, they are interconnected. There are two sides of the same. There are two things that are on the same team that are not on different things. These are some of the ways how the mentioned physical challenges can affect our mental and emotional state. It changes the brain chemistry. When an individual suffers from pain and inflammation from chronic pain or injury, something like a road traffic accident, you're coming to work, you have an accident on the way, something like arthritis, it sends constant stress signals to our brain, and this reduces the level of serotonin and dopamine in our body. These two chemicals, they are neurotransmitters that help the body, that helps an individual to feel calm and motivated. So when the level of these neurotransmitters are reduced, it leads to low mood, irritability, and hopelessness. Another thing, there could be hormonal disruption in the body. Illnesses like thyroid disorders, like diabetes, affect the function of hormones like cortisol and insulin, and this directly impacts on our body and gives things like anxiety, energy disruption, and loss of focus, and this could lead to things like weight changes or even burnout. Another way physical health challenges affect our mental and emotional state is sleep and energy disruption. When someone suffers from poor or interrupted sleep from any illnesses, example like asthma, backache, frequent urination, or heartburn, it interrupts deep sleep. This, what deep sleep does for us is it leads to when the deep sleep is interrupted, it leads to weaker emotional control, and the individual suffers from more stress the next day. So the individual is not able to cope or attend to their normal work duties. um Physical health challenges could also lead to energy loss or fatigue. The body needs energy to recover from illnesses or recover from whatever we are suffering from. When the energy level is reduced or impaired, small tasks dey feel overwhelmed and sadness set in, feeling of hopelessness dey set in. Physical health challenges makes daily life gets harder. When people experience loss of routine from not able to work, do their normal work, cook, exercise, or socialize, it creates a sort of frustration and boredom. And as we know, as human beings, we need purpose and connection. So this further worsen the mental state of the individual. Financial stress could also result from physical health challenges. This could be due to medical bills from the illnesses, transporting yourself to the hospital, or even lost income as a result of the physical health challenge, especially the chronic ones. This could lead to more worry and more stress for the individual, and this further worsens the mental state of that individual. There could be social and identity shift. Um, Individuals suffering from mostly chronic illnesses like diabetes or even epilepsy, they tend to want to avoid people because of their symptoms or even because of mobility issues or the fear of being a burden to people. So they tend to isolate themselves, and this leads to loneliness, which will also worsen the mental and the physical state of the individual. There are certain illnesses that are stigmatized, like when an individual has a fracture, the person is wheelchair bound or using crutches. People feel stigmatized, and this affects they feel being judged, and this affects their overall self-esteem. um Physical health challenges, they it doesn't have to be a life-threatening one to matter. Any illnesses that affect our daily life, they affect us. Physical health challenges, when they affect mental health, when you treat physical health challenges, you also improve on the mental state. It lifts the mood, and when you support the physical health, you also support the mental health, and this can speed up physical healing. Thank you.
Thank you
Over
so
to you,
very
Dr.
much.
Fidelisha.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Ifeitola. That was the main. And I would just want to say that there's many of you that knows the individuals that should be on this call. Please let's get them to join as soon as possible because these are information that you will not just get anywhere, and we're giving them freely, on the stables of Yaba Voice of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital. This is very, very germane because oftentimes when people are sick, we tend to forget that there is a mental or emotional component of illness. And so most times, shake up your body. Is it not just headache? Is it not just toothache? Have you had toothache that you are counting silly all through the night? You know how many sillies or things are there. Every quicksand is alerting your mind. Please call them to join. And she mentioned some very germane things, backaches and other things like that. And even epilepsy and other issues, physical health challenges as individuals go through, and we just tend to minimize them, and just not take cognizance of the emotional link between them. It's a very, very germane information that is being shared across today. So please reach out to whoever you know that should be on this call. Let them join as quickly as possible. Either they join on the Zoom platform or on the Facebook platform. They can get access to all of this information. Now, Dr. Animola is going to tell us how psychological stress can translate into physical symptoms in the body. Over to you, Dr. Animola.
Thank you very much. Psychological stress can translate into physical symptoms through well-established mind-body pathways. The mind representing our mental health and the body representing our physical well-being. When the brain perceives a threat, it can be real threats like a danger or perceived threats like worry or pressure. The brain activates the systems that are designed for survival in our body. And if this response is frequent or prolonged, it begins to produce physical symptoms. So the process actually starts in the brain. When the brain sounds the alarm, the process starts particularly in the part of the brain that we refer to as the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus activates the stress response system, including the HPA axis, that is the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So the brain releases signals that trigger the adrenal glands. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are also released, and this prepares the body for fight or flight. These stress hormones circulate through the bloodstream and act on multiple organs in our body, such as the heart. When the stress hormone acts on the heart beats faster and produce symptoms like what we refer to as palpitations, can also produce increased blood pressure. And when this stress hormone acts on our lungs, it can cause faster breathing, leading to shortness of breath. When stress hormone acts on muscles, it can tighten the muscles and lead to physical symptoms such as headache, neck pain, and back pain. When stress hormone acts on digestive system, it slows and becomes erratic, leading to symptoms like nausea, ulcer, diarrhea, or constipation. So a psychological experience or a psychological stress produces very real physical sensation. When these stress hormones act on the behavioral pathways in our body, it can cause changes in the way an individual behaves, which indirectly affect the body. It can lead to physical symptoms such as poor sleep, that is, difficulty in initiating and maintaining sleep. Can also lead to overeating or loss of appetite. It can increase use of alcohol or other psychoactive substances. It can reduce physical activity in an individual. So these behaviors further worsen physical health. What are we saying? We are saying that the mind and the body are in constant communication. They are deeply interconnected. Stress is the language through which the mind can speak to the body. And when it speaks too loudly or too long, the body begins to show signs. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Dr. Akintoyeshi.
As Dr. Animola was speaking, I was just imagining all that she was saying. the stress, the hypothalamus, the cortisol hormone, the fight or flight, and then it begins to attack the body and it begins to bring out a lot of. Can you imagine all that is going on? And that's why we need this knowledge. Because if we're not so mindful, a whole lot of things that we can prevent would tend to happen to us. And they are quite preventable. All that we need is knowledge. And that's why this is very important to us today. Now, Dr. Ibishola is going to tell us, why do people often ignore the link between the mind and the body until the problem now becomes quite severe? Why do we tend to ignore this link? Dr. Ibishola, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Akintoye. Why do people ignore the link between the mind and the body until these problems become severe? We tend to ignore this link because most of the time, the link is hidden, it is slow, and culturally downplayed. Why? Why does this occur? I will highlight a few points for us to understand why we tend to ignore this link. The first thing is the way we are taught is to split them up. We see mental health as a separate thing and physical health as a separate thing. The health system itself is siloed, so we tend to treat our symptoms separately too. The second idea I want to bring to us is these early symptoms that we see, they are usually quiet, they are slow, they are easy to dismiss or explain away. Hence, it creeps us and gradually it develops and becomes worse. First, things like poor sleep, irritability, or constant tiredness build up over months because when it's gradual and it lasts a long time, it tends to feel normal in our body. So we tend to ignore it or even leave it out completely. The other reason is there is no instant cause effect. When we don't sleep, when we skip sleep or an individual suffers from poor sleep, the anxiety that develops, it doesn't come up immediately. It might take some days. So this delay makes the link invisible for us. We only notice when the problems become severe or when the bucket overflows, as it is being said. Another reason why people ignore this link is because of our culture and stigmatization. Our culture normalizes pushing through. Most of the time when we are growing up, we often, when you complain about something, you hear don't complain, man up, or at times you'll be told just pray about it, you'll get better. Emotional struggles are labeled as weaknesses and character flaw, not as, we don't see it as an health issue, we see it as weaknesses. And when something is physical, they get prioritized according to our culture. Like someone that suffers from fracture will tend to get time off. But when you come up and say you are suffering from stress or burnout, people will tell you that you should just chop it up or just cope with it. And by so doing, we ignore this link between our mind and our body, that when the mind is affected, it also affects the body. Our daily life and our coping habits is another reason why we ignore this link. Everybody works with a particular survival mode. Like living in Lagos, you have to juggle a lot of things like bills, children, work, your career, or traffic in Lagos. By so doing, we tend to focus on what's the fire in front of you, and we only stop when there's a breakdown or when the body is forced to. And at times, numbing things, masking it works out. When I say masking it, the use of things like caffeine, alcohol, overworking, or even substance abuse that people indulge in most times can make fatigue and stress worse. Initially, it works, but with time, when the limit is exceeded, the mental health becomes worse. Then the fear of what does it mean if I admit that I have this issue, that I'm suffering from stress or burnout. The fear of what it means, or when I say my work is stressing me, is giving me too much stress, does it mean I have to quit or I have to take major life changes? This fear often make us ignore the link between our mental health and our physical health. At times when we ignore it, it feels safer in the short term, and at times, people are overwhelmed. When the mind and the body is hot, people tend to freeze. As they say, when you do nothing, you feel safer than when you have to figure out where to start or where to go. The last thing is our brains are wired to chase emergencies. We tend to focus on sharp pain or crisis, or when someone slops, or when there's loss of consciousness. We respond slowly to things like chronic stress, poor sleep that we could have attended to and the individual could have gotten better. The bottom line here is we ignore the link because it is invisible. The link is gradual, it is stigmatized, and it is inconvenient. We only connect the dots after an hospital visit or when the individual breaks down or when the individual cannot function anymore. So today I will implore us to pay attention to our mental and physical health. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Dr. Kitwesha.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Vishala. And the most times, certain things happen in our body, and what we tell ourselves is okay. We are still able to go. And for a lot of people, the moment they're able to go, they forget the fact that there is a pain or there's something that they need to. Do you know how many people have gotten to the hospital and they could have saved themselves from the diagnosis or the problems that eventually accumulated because they did not pay attention to it? Now, Dr. Animola is going to be talking to us about the warning signs of either an imbalance or dysfunction in the body, whether physical or even mental. What are the warning signs? So that we can go away from here today to understand what the warning signs are and how to begin to help ourselves to stay healthier. Over to you, Dr. Animola.
Thank you, Dr. Akinsoyeshi. There are so many warning signs of a dysfunction or imbalance in the body, some of which include sleep disturbances, that is, difficulty in falling or staying asleep, difficulty in initiating and maintaining sleep, or waking up too early. Some even have oversleeping but still feeling tired. So sleep is a key bridge between the mind and the body. When sleep is disrupted, both systems suffer. The mental health and our physical well-being suffer when sleep is disrupted. Another early warning sign is changes in energy levels. That is, persistent fatigue despite adequate rest, feeling drained or lacking motivation, low productivity or reduced stamina. This can reflect in stress, it may reflect in poor sleep, emotional strain, or an underlying physical condition. Another early warning sign is emotional and mood changes. That is irritability or frequent mood swings. Our mood can swing from low mood to elated or excited mood. Feeling anxious, restless, or being overwhelmed. Persistent sadness or loss of interest in usual activities is another early warning sign from imbalance is another early warning sign. So this may be early signs of emotional distress or even emerging mental health conditions. Another early warning sign is unexplained physical symptoms. Some people experience these symptoms and they cannot explain those physical symptoms, such as headaches or migraines. Body aches like neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Some even have chest discomfort or palpitations. Gastrointestinal issues such as nausea, diarrhea, bloating, constipation. So when no clear medical cause is found in any physical symptoms, stress and emotional factors are often contributors to such unexplained physical symptoms. Changes in appetite and weight is another early warning sign, such as eating too much or eating too little. There can also be sudden weight gain or sudden weight loss. Then craving for unhealthy food. So the brain and the gut are closely linked together. So emotional imbalance often affects our eating patterns. Another early warning sign is when we have reduced immunity, and this can lead to frequent infections such as malaria, general illness, cold. Slow recovery from minor illnesses and chronic stress weaken the immunity, our immune system over time. Cognitive difficulties is another early warning sign. such as poor concentration, forgetfulness, difficulty in making decisions. So mental overload or physical exhaustion can impair brain function. Behavioral changes is another early warning sign, like withdrawal from social activities, social withdrawal, loss of interest in hobbies, increased use of alcohol or psychoactive substances, and reduced physical activity. All these behavioral changes are often coping responses that signal deeper imbalance in our mental health and physical well-being. Feeling not quite yourself is also another early warning sign, like a vague sense that something is off or loss of inner balance or peace. All this reduce sense of purpose or satisfaction in an individual. So this intuitive feeling is important and should not be ignored. Early dysfunction is rarely just physical or just mental, and it is usually a combination of both our mental health and physical well-being. So the body and mind give multiple small signals across different areas before a major breakdown can occur. In simple terms, the mind shows distress through emotions and thoughts, and the body shows distress through physical symptoms. So both are warning systems pointing to the same underlying imbalance. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Animola. And you know what I was doing when she was talking to us about the signs, well, I was trying to tick off the ones that I think I have observed in recent time. I won't tell you how many but maybe later she's going to tell us how many would qualify us to say there is a dysfunction and imbalance. Because she did tell us that. Well, I know that there were some, and when she was talking about the mental overload, I think I have that. Maybe Dr. Bisola would treat me after now and tell me what to do. But she's going to talk to us currently, and she's going to tell us some of the practical and simple things that we can do to improve both our mental and physical well-being. So, what are those things that we can do? Maybe that would help me, and maybe that would also help you. Over to you, Dr. Ibisola.
Thank you, Dr. Akintoye. Um, Remember that we've already established that the mind and the body, they run on the same system, so there is no reason to separate them. I'm going to be taking us some simple 2-for-1 habits that we can indulge in that will help our mind and our body. That means it will help our mental health and our physical health at the same time. We don't need a complete overhaul of our lifestyle. We just need small, consistent actions, and that is what makes a lot of difference. There are 6 steps, 4 main levers to look at when we want to discuss practical habits that can help to improve our mental and physical health. The first thing is our sleep. We should endeavor to aim for quality sleep when we sleep. The WHO has said that an adult, physiological adult should at least have at least 8 hours of sleep in a day. So we should always ensure that we aim for this quality sleep. Also, our sleep and wake time should be consistent most days, even on weekends, and we should also ensure that we practice good sleep hygiene. These are things that we need to ensure in our sleep habits. What does this do for our body? When you have a good sleep, it helps to repair tissue, and this enhances healing. It improves the physical health and makes our recovery faster. For the body, it stabilizes the mood and improves memory, and leaving room for no error, especially when we do our daily activities. The second level we'll be looking at is movement. Um, it is encouraged that we should have a 10-minute walk outside, ideally in the morning. If morning does not work for you, it can be after a meal, it can be during course or between tasks, or when you are going to the bus stop, or something as simple as standing on your balcony or outside your door early in the morning for like 5 to 10 minutes. Allowing the sunlight to touch your face, to touch your body, goes a long way. This improves circulation for the physical health. It regulates our blood sugar and also strengthens the joint. And for the mind, exposure to sunlight alternation sets the body clock for better sleep. It makes us sleep better, and it also lowers our stress hormone, ensuring that we don't suffer from chronic stress too often. It also boosts serotonin and reduces the risk of low mood. Studies have shown that movement, exercise reduces anxiety in at least 20 to 40% of cases. Another form of movement is moving in a way that we enjoy for at least 5 minutes. It can be in the form of dancing while you are cooking, stretching while watching TV. It can be gardening, it can be playing with kids, taking the stairs, or even playing music. All these, for the physical health, it improves our strength, it improves the flexibility, and also improves the heart health. For the mental health, playing music releases endorphins and dopamine in our body, and this boosts our mood so that we don't suffer from depression or low mood at the end of the day. The next level we'll be looking at is our nutrition. Nutrition is important. We should ensure that we improve our nutrition. Practice healthy eating habits. Ensure that at every meal, protein and fiber are part of our meals. Even if you cannot take a complete meal, small balanced meal is what we should aim for most of the time. This for the our physical health, it stabilizes the energy levels, it support the muscle, it improve gut health, and also helps with digestion. As such, we don't suffer from digestive disorders or even other chronic illnesses like that. For the mind, it prevents blood sugar crashes that often gives irritability and brain fog. So it improves the mental well-being. Under nutrition, we'll also talk about hydration. Hydration is something that is very simple but is most often neglected. It is often said that you should take water first before coffee or tea. It is advised that we take at least a glass of water when you wake up in the morning. And also while working, ensure you always keep a bottle or a cup by your desk where you sit or where you work. This helps to prevent headache that occurs with dehydration and improves things like migraine. It helps the kidney to function well and keeps our joints well lubricated. So it improves things like pain that people from arthritis suffer from. For the mind, dehydration is something that worsens fatigue, increases anxiety, and kills our focus. And when you ensure that you stay hydrated throughout the day, it helps to reduce anxiety and improves the energy level throughout the day. The next thing we'll be talking about is social connection. The my social connection is something that we should endeavor to engage in to reduce loneliness. Ensure to connect with at least one person daily. It could be in the form of calls, text, or chat. Just having a talk with someone that really listens to you, it helps to normalize talking about stress. When you are stressed and you are able to have a conversation with a colleague that understands what you are going through, it goes a long way. Positive social contact helps to lower inflammation and boost our immunity. And for the mind, it helps to fight loneliness, fight feeling of worthlessness and hopelessness. The next thing is to set boundaries where possible. In demanding situation, we should always ensure that we find moments to pause, or even when you're taking difficult tasks, and you have a difficult boss or things like that. Take a moment, take a step back to pause. There's something we call micro recovery, that is taking a short break in between breaths. It can be in form of taking a 3 slow breaths before you start something, before you start the chores, or before you engage in any activity. And to make it easier practice, there is what we call inhale 4 count, exhale 6 count. That means inhale times and exhale 6 times. This helps to lower the heart rate and blood pressure and reduces muscle tension and muscle aches in our body. Mentally, it helps to interrupt stress level, reducing the stress that we suffer from. It improves our decision making and also reduces stress. Lastly, although this is a form of habit, we should seek professional support when it's needed. Therapy, counseling, and mental health services should not be seen as options of last resort, which is what happens normally in our setting. They are tools for maintenance, they are tools for our growth, which is what we should always endeavor that we do. Small daily checks can be helpful for all this level that we discuss. Small daily checks can be helpful. In a week, ask yourself, How has my sleep, my energy, my mood, and my connection been this week? When you have 2 to 3 off answers in more than 2 weeks, then you know that there's time to adjust so that we don't reach the breaking point. Taking care of our mental and physical health is more beneficial. It improves our work outcomes, it reduces error or room for mistake, it enhances teamwork and sustains our career in the long term. So today I want to implore us to pick a lever, start small, stay consistent. At the end of the day, it adds up, and when you help the mind, you also help the body. It improves our overall health. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Dr. Pituechi.
Mm. The last word that she just said is the key word. She said, stay consistent. Is that consistency? Oh? Mm. Mm. Hey, stay. Okay, at least today I have water beside me, so I'm taking water. At least I have achieved one of the levers, Abby. That's the word she used. Hey, sleep. Hmm.
Kindly unmute yourself, ma.
All right. I don't think I am qualified to say that I am qualified for that, quite a whole lot of things. And when she now went into boundaries, and what came into my mind is a whole lot of times there's so many things that is calling for your attention. And honestly, just find yourself wanting to just be there, wanting to just do it. And I think it's quite important that we must begin to apply these things. 6 things she mentioned: sleep, movement, that movement thing too. I will start week 1. Before the end of that week, I will stop. I will not even be able to do it. But today, she has said it to stay consistent. I will give a report by next webinar. We are going to stay consistent and we're going to keep doing it. Now, please note that you can send your comments and your questions on the chat box. We'll be willing to read and then we'll be able to ask our speakers. They are very intelligent. Somebody said that earlier. They're very intelligent. You can see how they have been giving us level by level. Now, one of the last things that Dr. Bishop has mentioned was seeking professional help. Now, Dr. Animola is going to share with us quickly how individuals who have noticed a significant level of imbalance, or maybe not even significant in their lives, seek for help. When should they seek for help, and what are the things that they can do, especially when, like they had mentioned earlier, there is something wrong and everybody feels, oh, I don't want to be stigmatized, I don't want to be seen as suffering from a problem. Dr. Animola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kitoyoshi. So seeking help early is a sign of awareness and strength and not weakness. When should someone seek help? We should seek help early when symptoms persist, either physical symptoms or mental health symptoms. Once symptoms persist, we should seek help early. When these symptoms last more than 2 weeks, for example, persistent low mood, persistent anxiety, poor sleep, or persistent fatigue, then we should seek help early. Persistence is one of the clearest signs that support is needed. When should we seek help early? When physical symptoms don't improve or keep returning, then we should seek help early. Also, when symptoms affect our daily functioning, then we should seek help early. If your usual routine is disrupted and it is time for you to pay attention, we should seek help early. When there is struggling to work, you are struggling to study, or struggling to manage your daily responsibilities, then we should seek help early. Also, when there is difficulty maintaining relationships, or there is loss of motivation or productivity, such individuals should seek help early. When symptoms are worsening, we should also seek help early. When there is increasing intensity of anxiety, sadness, or irritability, or when there is more frequent physical complaints like headaches, palpitations, body pains, such individuals should seek help early. So when there is progression of symptoms, because progression suggests the body and the mind are under strain, so we should seek help early. When should we also seek help early? When coping styles becomes unhealthy. We have healthy coping styles and unhealthy coping styles. Unhealthy coping styles like increased use of alcohol, increased use of other psychoactive substances, emotional withdrawal or isolation, avoidance of responsibilities. All these are unhealthy coping styles. So when your coping styles become unhealthy, you should seek help early. So these are signs that the system is overwhelmed. Also, when there are red flags, then we should seek help urgently. When I say red flags, what do I mean? I mean having thought of self-harm or hopelessness, having thought of suicide, having thought of homicide, hopelessness, worthlessness, then such individual should seek help urgently. When we have severe panic attack or inability to function, or other red flags like sudden major physical symptoms like chest pain, severe weakness, then such individual should seek help early. This require immediate professional attention. So we should seek help early and seek help with mental health professionals and other professionals. How to take the first step without fear or stigma? This is also very important. First thing is we must refrain from what seeking help means. Some people believe seeking help is a sign of failure. No, it is not a sign of failure. It is a preventive care. Just like checking your blood pressure or checking your blood sugar and treating yourself for malaria. It is a preventive care and not a sign of failure. So mental health is health and nothing else. There is no health without mental health. How to take steps without fear or stigma? We must start small and safe. Talk to someone you trust. Is he a friend or your colleague at work or a family member or a mentor, someone that you look up to as your mentor, or even your pastor or your imam? Talk to someone you trust. Share only what you are comfortable with. Share only what you are comfortable with. Speaking up reduces the burden immediately. We need to ventilate our emotion. Also, seek professional support. A doctor, a clinical psychologist, a psychiatrist can guide you. A family physician can guide you. In many cases, your primary care doctor is a good first point of contact. You don't need to have everything figured out before going to seek professional support. You can also use familiar and culturally safe spaces. In contexts like Nigeria, people often feel more comfortable starting with their faith leaders, their pastors, their imam. They feel comfortable starting with their community health workers or workplace health programs. These can serve as bridges to formal care when needed. Then we can also challenge stigma with knowledge. Just like what we are having in this webinar, some mental health conditions are common and treatable. Many people silently experience the same struggles without ventilating or seeking professional help. So what we don't talk about grows. What we address can heal. Then we need to focus on our goal. Feeling better instead of thinking, instead of excessive worry. What people will say shift to I want to sleep better. I want to feel like myself again. I want to function well. So keep the focus on recovery and not on judgment. So a simple first step someone needs to take today is first you must acknowledge something feels off about me. Then tell someone that you trust, someone that you look up to as a mentor. Then you need to book a simple checkup. Even for a physical complaint, it can open the door. You don't need to wait until things are severe. The earlier you seek help, the easier it is to restore balance, both mentally and physically. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Dr. Pintoyeshi.
Can you see me clapping? Acknowledgement is important. That helps you to be able to understand what it is that you need to. Something is wrong. It's okay. Talk about it. It doesn't seem that something is wrong with you, not in any way. Dr. Immaculate just said in what we don't talk about grows. Thank you, dear friend, Dr. Animola. Yes, what you don't talk about grows. And I will say there are lots of things that we could have saved. There are things that we could have prevented if only we can talk about it. Now, lastly, before we begin to wrap up, Dr. Ibishola is going to talk to us quickly about how do we ensure that we do not prioritize one aspect of the health that we're talking about, either the physical or the mental, above the other. In a few minutes, she's going to share that with us. But while she's doing that, please drop something that you're going to do differently from now henceforth, both for your physical and your mental health. One thing you're taking away from this webinar that you're going to be doing differently. Please drop that in the comment section, and then we'll move on. Dr. Bishola, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kitoyeshe. How do we ensure that we don't prioritize one aspect over the other? Today, I believe we've been able to establish that the mind and the body, that's the mental health and the physical health, they are deeply interconnected aspects of one same individual. If you have that at the back of our mind that both are connected, when one declines, the other follows. When you support one or when you treat one, you strengthen both of them. You cannot treat one and ignore the other. That is the essence of saying they are two sides of the same coin. They live in the same house. They are not neighbors. They live in the same room in the same house. So anything, if you have it at the back of our mind that whatever affects my mind affects my body. When someone has chronic stress, it affects the body. And when they affect the body, it goes back to affect the mind. So whatever you do, that is why most the practical simple habits that we talked about earlier, every habit has effect on both the mind and the body. If you pick one, it has effect. It contributes to the mental health and the physical health. So if you endeavor to engage in all this, it will ensure that you do not prioritize one over the other. And also, when we have physical challenges, it doesn't have to be something major or become an emergency before we say, okay, this thing matters. Something small as having headache, poor sleep is something we should work on before it becomes an anxiety disorder or leads us into cognitive decline or depression. So engaging in both, depositing, working on building up our mental and physical health ensures that we don't prioritize one over the other. And when we do that, the body as a whole benefits from it. Thank you. Dr. Tuition.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Ibishola. This is awesome. This is awesome. Can you quickly just share in 1 minute your take home from this webinar? There's so much information that we had been loaded with, starting from the fact that Dr. Animola told us that there is a connection. Dr. Bishola also told us that when there is a problem with the body, it affects the mind. And Dr. Animola also told us also when there is a problem with the mind, it also manifests in the body. And they had shown us some of the warning signs, as well as reasons why most times we do not even take these signs very seriously because we feel, oh, it's not masculine enough to cry or to have this kind of pain or to tell people I am going through this, or the fact that we do not even know that there is a connection. And one of the things that they had also shared with us today is acknowledgement, understanding that there is a problem, and then being able to also now talk about it with an expert. Now, one of the major problems I see around us is oftentimes people tend to go to the charlatans, the quacks to get help, or somebody will tell you that it has happened to me before. Now, it might be different things happening, going on in the body. Yes, it might present the same symptoms, but obviously it has different things going on there. And we must be able to go to the experts who will examine, check up, and then they'll be able to help us be able to. And then again, we are saying they are siblings, so they live in the same house. That's what Dr. Bishola said lastly down. So don't see them as far apart or people that are different. No, see them as people who you must be able to deal with together. Now, thank you so much for individuals who had responded to this. Now, Tolu says, I intend to rest more. Thank you so much for taking that away. Regular water, Dr. Who's this? Wilson Watson Long Musa. I hope I call that correctly. Then social connection, yes, Professor Badru. quality sleep. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you so very much being consistent in your good habits. And Shakilola is saying regular sleep time. Thank you so very much, everyone, for taking that away with you. Thank you so much. Please let's keep it coming in. Kemi Onichilo says seek help early. That's very important. At least it's part of what we had discussed here today. Now we are saying mental and physical health. There are two sides of a coin. Yes, Funke Oyenubi says speak out, don't hide it, talk about it, and get the rest out. Now our speakers are going to just talk to us lastly now on their last word, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. Dr. Animola, your last word today, ma'am.
As we bring this webinar to a close, here are the words I will leave with anyone listening. Your mind and your body are not separate battles. They are one story, one system, one life. When your mind is overwhelmed, your body will speak. When your body is trained, your mind will feel it. So instead of choosing one over the other, choose to care for both intentionally, consistently, and with passion. Listen to the small signals, the tiredness, the irritability, the headache, the loss of joy. They are not inconveniences, they are messages. Do not ignore those messages. Do not silence them. Rather than that, respond to them. Prioritize rest without guilt. Move your body not just for fitness, but for healing. Speak when you are overwhelmed. Silence often deepens the struggle. And when you need help, seek help early from professionals. There is strength, not shame, in asking for support. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. Yes, you need to be kind to yourself. You are not just trying to survive, you deserve to function. You deserve to feel whole. You deserve to thrive. Because true health is not just the absence of illness. It is the presence of balance, peace, and vitality in both mental health and our physical well-being. So, take care of both sides of the coin and you take care of your own self. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, mom. That's awesome. And you know, one thing she just said now that just struck me is be kind to yourself. You know, somebody once said, he said, taking care of yourself is not selfishness. Please be selfish to yourself. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's quite important. That way you'll be able to take care of both sides of the coin. And that also helps you to be able to function maximally. Dr. Bishola, your last word, ma'am.
Okay, as we bring this webinar to a close, I want us to have it at the back of our mind that we do not have a mental health life and a physical health life. We only have one life, and it runs on both. The mind and body, they are deeply interconnected. They are in the same individual. They are not in different individuals. They are two sides of the same coin, and we own the currency. So we can decide to invest in it. We can decide to develop it. And every time that we protect our sleep, move our body, manage stress, you are depositing into both accounts at once. As I said earlier, let us start small today and ensure that we stay consistent. Watch how caring for one side naturally lifts the other. We should remember that our well-being is not a luxury. It's the foundation that lets us show up for ourselves and the people we love. Our well-being matters not only for us, but for everyone that depends on us and the service we provide in our daily duties and our daily activities. Wellness is not imported. It is something that we develop ourselves and we gift to ourselves. So we should ensure that we give ourselves holistic care. It is not an option. It is essential. It is a necessity. So ensure to take care of your mental health and your physical health today. Thank you everyone for listening. Please stay safe.
That's awesome. You know what she just said that struck me is the fact that you do not have a mental health life or a physical health life. It is one life, and so you must be able to deposit into that one account. And then Just give awareness is your gift to yourself. So awesome. Now, people that have been asking for the recording of this webinar, it will be on the Yaba Voice YouTube page immediately after now. Just go there. Yaba Voice FNPHY. Yaba Voice FNPHY. The recording of this webinar as well as the previous episodes are on the YouTube page, so you could easily just listen to it over and over again. And then somebody just sent in a message and said, kudos to the speakers. However, the information is being disseminated to few people. How will you change people's mindset in terms of mental health is not madness and communicates to a wider society? And that's why we need you. We need you to be the vanguard. Now, we had done a lot of episodes, so much in terms of mental health, creating awareness, and other things like that. So you can be the vanguard that would help person disseminate it. We can only reach a few. We know that. But you take it further in your own community, in your own society, spread it there. Every other person now lighting up the word and helping people to understand this issue that we are talking about, then we're going to be able to get the wider coverage. So please be the vanguard, be the voice. And then our next episode, you can always just help us to invite other people to join us. Thank you so very much for your kind words, everyone. Dr. or Professor Badru is saying thank you to our speakers. Thank you for your perspective on this awesome topic. God bless you richly. Kudos to the organizers, the MD and the anchor. Thank you. Oh, yes, he's saying you're too much. I'm too much. Thank you. So I'm kind to myself now. Thank you so very much, everyone, for being on this call. Until we come your way again next month, by the grace of God, we'll be looking at something about children. Please help us also to spread the word, share the information around to everyone. We'll be coming every third Thursday. Usually we're here, except there is a change or there is a holiday or something is happening in the world, or we try to be here. And on behalf of the medical director, once again, Dr. Lubenga Adekile Oweye, who is our head and who is also very passionate about disseminating this information to everyone. Please stay safe, take care of your mental health, be kind to yourself, ensure that you speak out when you need help. Acknowledge that something is going on and get all the help that you need. Remember, it's only one life, and please deposit into that life. And all that you can do to yourself, please ensure that you give the best to yourself. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on this call. Until we come away again, bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye. To our speakers, thank you. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
for
listening.
coming.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye. Have a lovely day.
Yes.